Hey folks, welcome to another edition of BrushPile Fishing. We are in late May here near Columbus, Ohio at Alum Creek. This is a lake we used to fish on the Buckeye Tournament Trail quite a few times, and I haven't been here for a while. Last year I got to come over here and do some promotional things with my good buddy Ben Grumbles, and he's going to be our guest today. Ben knows this lake pretty well, and Ben does all of our rigging on our BrushPile boat. He's turned this thing into a fishing machine, and he's my guest today. He's also a veteran, so proud to have him on board. Stay tuned, Alum Creek, right here on BrushPile Fishing.
Many people look at a lake and feel a sense of calm serenity. Crappie fishermen feel the heart-pounding anticipation of the thump. That's why host Russ Bailey is addicted to crappie fishing. It's this addiction that takes Russ from the Midwest to the Deep South in search of the best lakes, techniques, and patterns from some of the best crappie anglers in the country, right here on BrushPile Fishing.
All right, folks, welcome back to BrushPile Fishing here in Alum Creek. We're in late May. We're still trying to get some of those spawning fish. We have had a cold spring here in Ohio, so it's pushed the spawn back. My guest, veteran, Ben Grumbles. How we doing, bud?
I'm doing great.
Ben is now on our pro staff. Ben is the one that actually rigged this boat up for us. All the electronics, everything. He's done a fantastic job, and he's a heck of a good fisherman. Alum Creek, you live in Indianapolis now, but Alum has always been your home lake.
That's correct.
And you say we're going to try to get some of these spawners on Jig and Cork.
That's
my favorite
right.
method.
That's right. And we're going to hit them with the Therapist and Fast Lane crappie magnets today. A new design that I'm excited for you to share, and I expect we'll have a good bit of action this morning.
And what he's talking about, folks, is I've been working with Jeff Smith at Crappie Magnet for a couple months now on a new bait that we're looking at, we're trying to design, and I think we have it pretty much down. Today is the first day we're going to use it here on the water, so we will see what happens. We don't even have a name for it yet, but we'll give you a good close-up shot of it later. But right now, we're going to try to catch some of these spawning fish. Alum Creek, here we go, folks.
Here's the lake information, sponsored by Mossback Fish Habitat.
Yeah, they're still right about 25 feet. You can see out here 8 feet down, and they're coming up to hit that. So it's perfect.
Folks, this is we're hitting a big laydown. It starts way up there, comes way out in the water. And we're using a LiveScope just to see if the fish are there, but other than that, it's Jig and Cork.
That's why I always tell people, Russ, is that you know, you don't have to use the LiveScope to target fish. If you want to bring your kids out or just go have a fun time, education, right?
Yes.
Have a fun time on the water. You can bring your LiveScope out, locate the fish, and put the kids on them with a cork and a bait, just like they do at a pond or anything else, and they'll have the time of their life and learn so much about the species and their habits and things like that with LiveScope. It's a wonderful tool.
It is, and you know I love my Jig and Cork fishing. So if we can get into, we don't know if we're too late or not, folks, but we're going to try. Water temperature right now 67. It should be prime for these fish. This laydown we're fishing now actually comes out. We're in 21 foot of water, the boat is, but the fish are suspended off of it.
Your gear and conditions, sponsored by Millertech Lithium.
They sure love the fast lane color out in this lake. It's been a heck of a producer for me.
Tell you what, everywhere I've used that, man.
Here we go. A little action there.
Ben, she's
Got him?
give me.
There we go. Ooh,
Oh,
look at that dark
this.
one.
Look at this pretty fish.
Look at that.
What a
Woo-hoo,
beautiful
look how dark.
fish. Look at the tuxedo in that, huh?
He's not spawning, is he?
No, not at all. That's a beautiful white
First one of
crappie
the
right
morning,
there.
folks.
Just kidding. Think that's a black?
That's a black.
That's pretty, isn't it? That's a
Beautiful.
gorgeous fish.
And Ben, I know Alum Creek has both white and black crappie, correct?
That's correct. Yep. And you'll see them at times where they're sectioned off, where you'll get into a mess of fish and you might catch one black for every 10 white. And then you'll go somewhere else on the lake and at the opposite ratio. So it's kind of fun, you know, if you want to target a species. I feel like this is a great body of water where you can do that and you can kind of figure out why they're in those areas and learn about the species again.
Sure.
What they tend to do. They're a little, you know, they differ a little bit.
And what we may do too, folks, like I say, these are, right now they're suspended out the end of this, but we'll work our way right up to the shoreline, see if they're shallow also.
There's a bunch right there, 30 feet out. Those are some good sized fish too, right at that branch.
I like this watercolor. It's just got a little stain to it, but it's pretty clear.
I'm watching them on this LiveScope and they're moving around quite a bit. There's some right here, right off the side of the boat.
Right now we're just kind of using a long
That's a great shot
rod,
there, Russ.
flipping right off of that. We also brought the 75th anniversary series rod in case we have to make some long casts, but right now we're just flipping.
There's one. Right on the move.
Nice one.
Not quite as dark as the first one. Oop. Put that right on the way up. Nice little fish there. And that's a heck of a school of fish right there. Whatever they are, and that's where I was talking about. If you're fishing for bluegill with your kids, you come across something like that and you throw a bobber on, you could sit here all day and catch fish. So
There we go. Off
Good
the
deal.
bottom.
Yep.
Ooh, nice crappie.
There's a nice fish.
He was off the bottom. We wanted to jig and cork him, but we're in 16 foot, and this one was just off the bottom.
And just
on
by
the Wizard
chance,
Glow.
just by chance, looking down there, you can see them.
Yep.
That's
a white crappie. Hard to tell, but that's a white. First one of the morning. And he absolutely hammered that. The new bait that we don't have a name for, but the color is Wizard Glow. Nothing off that.
nothing. Throw over. I can't get as far as you. I've got to need a little
left
more
branch.
line. And that shade back there, I think that there's got to be one sitting back on that somewhere. Oh, there's one.
Crappie?
Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Nice dark one again. Look, there's one following it, Russ.
Oh, that's a good one.
Look, see it following it?
Yeah, yeah.
You throw in there and you
That's
try
a
and
good
scoop that
one.
up. They're in there together. Nice, pretty dark fish again.
You can tell that the males are still working the beds.
And they're really hitting this therapist today, both in the new bait and this traditional crappie magnet. So beautiful dark fish. They got a tuxedo on, as they say.
I got mine vertical jigging. That's bluegill right there.
Just right to that, literally where that little stick is standing up, right where I popped that crappie. And he didn't mess around. He came up and got a hold of it right away.
Ho, 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 you're under.
Yep, I got one. I'm sitting there looking at yours.
Right there, okay.
Little guy there.
Man, he hammered you.
He did. I was looking at yours, waiting for you to get a big one. There is a mess of them. I mean, look at that screen. And they're shallow. They're in 4 feet. They're all the way as far as you can cast back there.
There we go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Dang,
Russ.
small
Nice
one.
fish.
Look there.
That's what we came to
Big
catch.
white. Come here.
That's
Nice
what we came to
fish.
catch right there, sir. I just missed one there.
Oh,
Nice
look
fish,
there.
Russ.
Good white. We found a submerged brush pile, not off or off the bank a ways.
Missed one again.
Fish on. Small one. But same brush pile. And we are catching about every size today. That's a tiny one there. Went back to a regular crappie magnet. There we go.
Good fish.
There we go.
Another good fish.
Oh yeah. The new bait. We don't have a name for it, but
Grumbles grub.
he slammed that. Not as big as that last one, but it's a good one. Another white.
That's what I was saying earlier about this lake is when you get into them, they're usually all together like that. They're not commingled.
Again, we're in about 6.5 foot of water. Some of these are coming up to about 4 foot. So you can't see them with the naked eye.
There's one.
There's another one.
That's
Look
a
at
nice
this.
fish too.
Another nice one.
Another white.
And today we've had to hunt, folks. We went to 3 or 4 spots, caught a couple here and there, but this is the first spot where we're starting to catch some numbers. Some spawning, some post spawn.
And that's that stump I was telling you I've had good luck on, Russ. It's just that right in between the two right there.
Yes, sir.
And there's typically a couple floating around in there. This hole's been nice as the fish, when they do make a move, they're really moving on it hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's always nice to get a couple crappie that are aggressive like that. Makes it fun. Go to the next one up.
Yep.
Okay. You got the power poles down.
That's why we
You
weren't
got a
moving.
fish on.
There we go. Oh, that's a good one. Getting ready to move the power poles. And that was sitting still when he hit, and I mean sitting still. Smaller fish. Now, you've seen this with Tom Hankins before.
One-eye fish.
We've got a one-eyed fish.
I already knew when you said Tom Hankins.
One-eyed fish. And if you haven't seen that, check that show out.
That's really something.
So folks, we came here today hoping to get some of these fish big time into the spawn. We thought they would still be on because we've had a lot of cold weather. We've caught a few spawning males, but we've caught a lot of fish today I think are already spawned out, so they're in that post-spawn pattern right now. So we're getting a little bit of both. But we're sticking with the jig and cork, and we'll see what happens here. Folks, this is mainly why I designed this rod. I like to do a lot of flipping into areas. We got these overhang trees. You just see where I shot that under there, just a little flip. And it's not a lot of arm movement, just a little bit of the wrist, move it. And you can get into some of these spots a lot of guys won't even try to get into. And with the eyelets we have on here, the line comes off so easy. And you can get right where you need to be.
I usually, when there's not leaves all over it, I can get pretty tight in there, and it's water's so high. Usually you can cast on the left side of that timber up there, do pretty good. Oh, you got him.
Well,
how's that
folks,
going to work?
do not attempt this at home. If you too can land 2-pound fish like that. Now, I think that bait is almost as big as that fish. Look at that. So folks, as far as limits here in Ohio, on any inland lake, we have a 30 per man, and they've got to be at least 9 inches. Now that does not apply to the Ohio River or Lake Erie, because those are federal waters, but any of the state inland lakes, that's the limit. And 30 per man, that's a lot of fish. A lot of fillets, so that's plenty. Ben, you are a veteran. Also,
that's a good fish.
That's not a crappie. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, look at that Russ Bailey rod. Oh, goodness.
It's going to be a catfish.
Yep, it is. Wow.
Hammered that too, didn't he?
And I have 4-pound slime line on here right now.
It'll hold them.
And at this point, folks, there's not a whole lot I can do. Just kind of let him do his thing.
Tire him out.
Big Ben's gonna give me a hand there. Maybe.
That's how we do it.
So Ben, we was talking about your military experience.
Yes, sir.
What branch were you in, sir?
I was infantryman in the Army.
Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, I was grateful that I had the opportunity to serve, and I'm still working in the DoD field now, so it's
And there he went.
a lot of fun. Enjoy it.
Well, folks, sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. That was a pretty good sized catfish. But anyways, Ben, so you're working for DoD now?
I'm working for a private company that supports the defense sector, yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so I get to go on base every now and then and work with the service members and DoD civilians. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Well, as always, here at BrushPile, we appreciate your service. And Ben, you have been at each one of our veteran tournaments. We've had those on Delaware Lake. This year we're going to actually change. It's going to be here on Alum in the fall. So we appreciate you taking part in those also.
Yeah, it's actually how I met the BrushPile family was when I was still living here in the area, an elected official, and Marcus reached out to me, and via Paul's Marine, I had bought a boat there and they needed help getting the tournament set up, and never met anyone from BrushPile.
Yeah.
Marcus reached out and we hit it off and introduced him to some people, and it took off from there. And the last year, it's been great because some of the folks I've interacted with through the elected role heard about the tournament and actually became sponsors.
Yes.
And so, that's critical, obviously. We want all the money going to Travis Mills Foundation that we can get. And I know one year we also supported Save a Warrior.
Yep.
And I just saw a note from Travis where he was recognizing BrushPile fishing for the $30,000 contributed last year. I mean, that's a huge, for a nonprofit, that's a big deal. And, with that amount of money going back to the organization, the great thing about it is the sport of crappie. I did tournament catfishing and met Marcus and met BrushPile. And I did crappie fishing, but not at the level I do now. And it's just a different kind of, a different group of people. They're family.
They are.
Wonderful group of folks that are involved in crappie fishing, and I fell in love with it right away. Just the tournament, the first tournament I was at, Greg Rutschilling, who you filmed with before, I had left my minnow bucket at home and got a bucket with my cast net in it for catfishing, and Greg is out, and actually we had known some of the same people, and one of those small world things, and he said, well, here, you better get a couple dozen minnows. That bucket's not going to do you any good. And that kind of, I just missed one right there. That kind of set the tone for me with the way that crappie fishermen look out for each other. Now Greg's a friend, you know, we just got done fishing together at Dale Hollow, and
you know, you talk about Greg in our tournament. Every Friday night before the tournament, we have a huge fish fry. It's free for all the anglers and sponsors, and Greg actually brings all the fish and cooks all that fish. And when I say it's a fish fry, we have a fish fry Friday night, folks.
Oh, it's a big deal. Greg's a heck of a guy. He really is. Wonderful human being, and you'll meet a lot of them in crappie fishing. It's just the way it is, and I'm grateful for it, and for the friendships more than anything. That's what matters to me. And then you meet folks like Jeff Smith and, you know, Mark Riddle, and just all the people involved in the family, you know.
Yep.
And that's why I'm happy to wear the hat. And when I was doing installs on boats, always recommended Cornfield products, because they're not just good people, they make a hell of a product, a great product, and it's family, like you said.
Well, you know, we're glad to have you on board with us. And folks, if you would like to learn more about our tournament, you can go to our website, just brushpilefishing.com. Whether you'd like to fish it or be a sponsor or donate to us, check that out. And if you haven't got the chance, make sure you check out the Travis Mills Foundation. Again, there's nothing more important to me anyways than what we can do for our veterans. So check it out. And again, Ben, we appreciate you participating every year.
Yeah, it's been great. I would even say if you're on the fence about what you want to do, come to the fish fry.
Oh yeah.
Just come out to the fish fry and experience it. Get a couple free baits or whatever's getting handed out, have some fish, meet the people, and you know, you listen to Travis talk, and you see Travis and meet him, and you get to see what his foundation's doing for disabled veterans and rehabilitating them physically and mentally. It really is special. It's been awesome to see just in the 3 years too what he's done with his foundation, the growth at his facility, and how many veterans they've been able to rehabilitate. There we go.
What in the world? I'm getting everything but crappie.
Well, that's all right. You're getting something. There must be a bed or something over there that you're tapping into. That is another catfish. This one I think we'll get in the boat. A little smaller.
We started this segment, folks, with a catfish. We're going to end it with a catfish. And then we're going to make a move.
We're crappieing out here.
So folks, this is probably the third spot we've hit today. We haven't set the world on fire, and we've talked to other anglers. There's a lot of boats out today, and the bite has been slow, but it's still been fun. We've caught some nice, good keeper fish. No big trophies yet, but we've got 1 or 2 more spots to try. And again, check out the Travis Mills Foundation.
And now, the BrushPile Gear Check.
Hey folks, Russ Bailey here. Thanks for joining me for today's BrushPile Gear Check. We had actually 2 rigs we used today. We stuck mainly with the Jig and Cork. When we were doing that, we were using my Russ Bailey Signature Series rod. Ben was actually using an 8-footer. I was using the 10.5. As far as the line, I went with the 4-pound high-vis slime line. I really like the high-vis, just mainly so I can see it. As far as the jigs, now, we used 2 jigs today because I wanted to see how they compared. Ben used of the crappie magnet, the regular. I used this new one today. I don't know what it's called. We don't have a name for it yet, but it's a pretty cool jig. It's got sort of the slab magnet body, but it's a little bit smaller, the double tail. Now, the big thing about this, it's got an insert that you can actually put one of the slab bites in. And speaking of which, you see the slab bite I have in, it's pink, brand new color. I've waited this for a long time. They now have it. As far as the cork, now, this is important. I use a 1/32 ounce double cross jig head when I'm cork fishing. I don't go with the panfish float. To me, it's too big. It doesn't give the action I like, and I like to do things subtle also. I go with the trout float. It works so well with that 1/32. Just a little tip that I think, especially like today, they were finicky. I think we're in a post spawn actually, and seeing that little cork, it gives them a little less resistance, and I think it'll put more fish in the boat. So that's today's gear check. Now, I do want to tell you one more thing though, before I close. We also did some vertical jigging on some of the deeper trees that we were on. And for that, I just used the 75 or the 75th anniversary series rod. Super, super sensitive rod, limber as heck. And again, no cork on that. We went with the loop knot, but the same jig, and there's the Wizard's Glow in the new bait that Crappie Magnet's coming out with. So we didn't use this quite as much. If we found the fish deeper off the trees, we did. And we caught some that way too, but mainly we were corking today. And that's today's BrushPile gear check. Here we go. Oh yeah.
Didn't think it would take too long.
Come here. Another white, just good cleaner fish. Take those all day long to clean, let them bigger ones go back. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's show here at Alum Creek. We're in late May. Ben, we thought we would get some of them spawners.
Yep.
But I think we caught a few, but I think it's post-spawn. It was actually a little bit tough bite today, but we said we were going to get them with jig and cork, and we still caught a good number of fish, good cleaners, no big pigs that you're known for here.
Yeah, we had a good time, and it was one of the tougher bites I've seen out on this lake, and I think the transition period is spot on. We were marking fish shallow and deep, and you see that fluctuation like that, it's a pretty good sign that there's movement,
Yep.
you know, from spot to spot and post-spawn activity going on, but all in all, a good day on the water.
Well, and the good thing is, you know now, here in another week or so, if it stays warm, they're going to move out on them deeper brush piles, and they're going to be stacked. You come out here, and that's when you can do your live scoping and just pound some big fish.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, you know, everyone, I think, started out crappie fishing like we did today. Jig and cork, and there's still something special about just seeing that cork take off under the water.
Really is. Even if it's a bluegill, it's just exciting to watch. Yeah.
And you know what? It's even fun fishing with you, Ben.
Hey, what can I say? I try, right?
Thanks a lot, brother.
Yep, it's
Appreciate
always a
it.
pleasure to fish with you, Russ.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned, because we'll be back again with BrushPile Fishing.
Special thanks to B&M Pole Company, War Eagle Boats, Crappie Magnet, Slime Line Fishing Line, Cornfield Fishing Gear, Eye-Hole Jig, Easy Drift, Driftmaster, Offshore Tackle Company, Power Pole, Mossback Fish Habitat, Purpose-Built Optics, Garmin, Stan's Slip Bobbers, Bob's Cycle Repair, Millertech Lithium,